Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at how the Hollywood Racked RV Rider platform bike rack fits on our 2023 Cadillac XT4. So the RV Rider is an extreme bike rack. It is designed to be used with RVs, motorhomes, trailers, things like that, but it can also be used on pretty much any vehicle that has a 2-inch hitch receiver. So for that reason, I really would only recommend this bike rack if you have an extreme situation. Maybe you have an extremely heavy bike or you have a long wheelbase that you need to consider. That's when this might be the best option for you. But for other cases, like normal bikes, you might want something that's easier to use because there's a lot of things included with this rack that you're going to have to go through. So the first thing is this can tilt away. And to do so, there's a pin as well as a bolt that you're going to have to get at. So first we'll take off this clip and we'll take off this pin. I'm lifting up on the rack as I do so to get that weight off of it. And then the next feature is this bolt. So there's going to be a knob at the end. You're going to want to loosen that knob. And once that's loose, you can then get at the bolt. So lift up on the bike as you push that bolt out. We're going to leave that out there to let it tilt away. So you can see here that it has kind of a shallow tilt, but that's okay because the XT4 has a pretty short door. So even with our longer handlebars, we have just enough clearance to open up that door, get our waters, get our helmets, our backpacks without having to take the bikes off. This does have an 80-pound weight capacity, so you can see how helpful it would be. Just leave the bikes on there if you need to grab something out of your hatch real quick. All right, we're going to put this bolt right back. On that note, with heavy bikes on there, you're going to have to lift that entire rack to get it back into place as you put the bolt in. So I would recommend either having a friend help you out with one of those steps or just not tilting it away if you're not able to lift as much. So with that bolt back in and then the clip in too for the pin, let's talk about the types of bikes. So I did mention an 80-pound per bike weight capacity, which is very impressive. And with that, you also have a 60-inch long wheelbase, which is pretty cool too, as well as a 5-inch tire width. So whether you have a long bike, a fat bike, or a large heavy bike, this can work with that. The touch points is 1 and 2 wheel straps as well as a frame mount. I'm going to take off the bike, starting at the wheel straps. Press that lever, lift those straps up and over. 1 and 2. With that, we're going to leave it over to the side. Now we're going to go to the frame mount. So depending on your bike, you're going to have a different way of holding on to it. I like to hold on to it with my elbow as I loosen this frame mount. These frame mounts are lockable, by the way. That way you don't have to deal with separate cable locks. You just get that in place, swing this back around, and now we can grab our bike. Open it up and past the mast. And we are ready to hit the trails. So with the bike off, you can see the general shape of the RV Rider. If you like the weight capacity, but you want a slightly easier experience, you may want to check out Hollywood Racked Sport Rider instead. That one has frame hooks that come down. So they're not as versatile as these frame mounts, but still might be helpful for you. So how much space does this take up behind your vehicle? I like to measure from the bumper end of the rack. That's 25.25 inches. The height you're lifting bikes up to get into those loops is going to be 25.5 inches. So a good amount of height, more than 2 feet for those 80-pound bikes. This also does become a bit more compact. And to do so, we're going to lower our mast. So this has another knob and another pin or bolt holding it into place. So take that knob off, push the pin out, bring this down, secure the pin right back in, and let's go right there. So you can see how this might take a bit of time when you're at the campsite. So just remember that when planning out your schedule. Okay, now that that's in, let's fold this rack up. So back to the pins, back to the bolts. By the way, this fits into a 2-inch hitch receiver. If you do not already have a 2-inch hitch receiver, you can find one here at etrailer.com for your Cadillac XT4. All right, so with that up and away, don't forget to secure it again and tighten that back down. So this is going to be our compact or our portable position. Takes up less space compared to when the rack is down. Now you will not be able to open up your hatch with it in this position. You have plenty of clearance, about 4 inches between the rack and the vehicle, and this now adds 14 inches to the back of the car. Full visibility through your backup camera, your taillights, your rear window, even your license plate is still visible with it folded up like this. So all in all, I did mention that this has really good weight capacity, really good capacity for long wheelbases. The downside is it's just a hassle to work with. So there's really pros and cons to every bike rack. I did mention the Hollywood Rack Sport Rider as an alternative. And if you want something even easier, but with a great weight capacity, you might want to check out the Rocky Mounts Guide Rail instead, which is a solid alternative. Now, this right here was a look at the Hollywood Rack's RV Rider 2-bike platform rack on the 2023 Cadillac XT4.